For the past 2 summers, I've worked at the Baruch Institute doing research about floating treatment wetlands, which we call FTWs. A floating treatment wetland is a bioremediation tool that uses plants installed in floating styrofoam rafts to remove excess nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus or other pollutants from the water so that less algae is able to grow. The roots of the plants grow down and hang in the water. A biofilm forms on the roots of the plants, with the plants providing sugars and oxygen to the microbes in the biofilm, which in turn provide usable nitrogen and phosphorus to the plants in a symbiotic relationship. Nutrient overload is usually caused by nitrogen and phosphorus, which get into the water through natural processes such as erosion or through human activities like agricultural runoff and discharge from wastewater treatment plants. When a body of water has too many nutrients, eutrophication can happen, which is when algae starts to grow very quickly, leading to algal blooms. When the algae die, they are decomposed by microorganisms in a process that uses up the dissolved oxygen in the water. This can cause fish kills and reduce biodiversity in the water. Sometimes even the algae itself is toxic, which can harm aquatic life and humans. The goal of the research is to understand how effectively FTWs are able to remove nutrients from water and how this impacts the growth of algae. This information helps determine how effective FTWs are as a bioremediation tool. The experiment is set up using 12 pond mesocosms, which are outdoor experiments that provide pond-like conditions in a more controlled setting than an actual pond. The plants used are pickerel weed, iris, swamp hibiscus, and lizard's tail, all common wetland plants. The potting material used for the plants is coconut coir. 9 of the mesocosm tubs have added fertilizer with a starting concentration of 10 milligrams per liter of nitrate. The fertilizer doses were added to 3 300-gallon batches of well water, each of which was gravity-fed into 3 tubs. These tubs also have varied coverage ratios, which is the ratio of water covered by the styrofoam rafts to the water exposed to air. Each set of 3 tubs has a 0%, 33%, and 66% covered tub. 33% coverage rafts hold 12 plants, and 66% coverage rafts hold 24 plants. As a control for the experiment, we have 3 tubs with no fertilizer added, which have a 33% coverage draft. The pH, temperature, dissolved oxygen, conductivity, turbidity, and water depth in the tubs are measured hourly in 3 of the tubs. Nutrient sampling and spot checks for pH, DO, and temperature are done twice a week, and rainfall is measured between sampling. Nutrient samples are analyzed for nitrate, phosphate, ammonia, total nitrogen, and non-purgeable organic carbon to understand the biological conditions in each mesocosm. Sampling for total suspended solids and volatile suspended solids is done once a week, which tells us about the amount of algae in the tubs each week. With several years of historical data to analyze, exact relationships between nutrient removal rate, FTW size, and algae growth are still being evaluated, but some trends are beginning to appear. Results from previous summers indicate that there is a correlation between higher coverage ratios and higher removal rates of nitrate from the water. We believe this is because the larger FTWs provide more surface area for denitrifying bacteria to form biofilm on their roots, which means nitrogen can be removed from the water more quickly. Nutrient data for phosphates in the water show that they were removed during the experiment, but there is not a clearly defined trend between phosphorus removal and FTW size in the data we have. Looking at algae growth, we have seen a spike in growth at the beginning of the experimental runs, with larger blooms occurring in the 0% and 33% coverage tubs than in the 66% coverage tubs. This may be because the larger FTWs are able to better compete with the algae for nutrients, or possibly because less sunlight and oxygen are available to algae in these tubs. Overall, FTWs are a promising tool for fixing bodies of water with excess nutrient loads. They're inexpensive, easy to maintain, and use natural processes to solve the problem. We're hopeful that this research is able to give us some answers about the best ways for FTWs to be used in the real world.